Welcome. In this episode, we're going to be taking a look at one of the documents for one of the EMTs who was suspended for failing to provide assistance to Tyre Nichols on the night of January 7th, when Tyre Nichols had been beaten and kicked and all of those things. This is the State of Tennessee Department of Health in the matter of JaMichael Sandridge, respondent, before the Tennessee Emergency Medical Services Division. Order of summary suspension. This cause came to be heard on the third day of February 23rd at a public meeting before a panel of the Tennessee Emergency Medical Services Division. Upon the application of the Tennessee Department of Health, meaning they sent this in, for a summary suspension of respondent's license. The state presented evidence that respondent JaMichael Sandridge, advanced emergency medical technician, respondent, failed to render emergency care and treatment to patient TN as required by the section listed there and the board's implementing regulations for approximately 19 minutes after arriving at the event location in Memphis, Tennessee on January 7, 2023. All right, next we have up the jurisdiction, and this is just talking about how the board has power over him and his license. But let's scroll down to findings of fact. Respondent has been at all times pertinent hereto licensed by the board as an advanced emergency medical technician in the state of Tennessee, having been granted Tennessee license number by the board on November 17th, 2015. Respondent's license currently has an expiration date of October 31st, 2024. So let's get this straight. 2015. Since 2015, he has had this license. It is now 2023. So we're going on almost 8 years. It does not appear that respondent is someone who is new to this career. It doesn't appear that respondent is a trainee, someone who doesn't know what the job is. It sounds like this is a person who is an advanced, notice they said advanced EMT. That's what his license is. He is not new to this. He knows how to do the job, supposedly. On January 7, 2023, respondent responded to an emergency medical dispatch at Castlegate Lane in Memphis, Tennessee, involving patient TN. At approximately 8:41 p.m. on January 7, 2023, respondent arrived at the event location along with respondent's partner. For the next 19 minutes, beginning at approximately 8:41 p.m. on January 7, 2023, respondent failed to provide any basic or limited advanced skills in emergency care for patient TN, despite patient TN exhibiting clear signs of distress, such as the inability to remain in a seated posture and laying prone on the ground multiple times. A primary examination, which respondent did not initiate instantaneously or at any point during the 19-minute reference time period after greeting patient TN, including obtaining vital signs and conducting a full head-to-toe examination. A primary examination is used to establish the presence of any life-threatening injuries. Respondent failed to obtain vital signs and failed to conduct a full head-to-toe examination during the 19-minute reference time period. Vital signs play a key role in establishing a baseline for the patient from which deterioration from medical conditions can be measured. Let's go back through this because I think this is really key. The thing about being in the medical field is that it is both a science and an art. But in this case, there were some objective things, some objective actions, some objective signs that were here according to what they listed. They said, first of all, 19 minutes. So for 19 minutes, like turn on your timer and then let it sit for 19 minutes. And you give the jury an idea of what 19 minutes looks like and feels like. And you go during that time, during that whole time frame, a person who has advanced knowledge of EMT procedures and protocols and has been doing this for going on 8 years now. It says instantaneously or at any other time, this primary examination or evaluation was not done. 19 minutes. Let the clock just roll there. Just imagine how much time that is. It says despite. Here's another one of the objective pieces to this. It says despite patient TN exhibiting clear signs of distress. And then they go on to tell you what those clear signs were. The inability to remain seated posture. Hold yourself up and be able to sit here without falling over. Hold yourself up and be able to sit here without falling over. And it says multiple times. Multiple times. This happened multiple times. So they are pointing to some very key objective measures that did not take place here. It makes it very hard to defend yourself against that, because it's not this thing where we say, oh, well, I don't know, it wasn't clear what was going on. You didn't even do the primary evaluation. Imagine how many times you have been out in the world, just in public, out in the world, and you see someone and you go, is that person okay? Do they look okay? Did something happen? And you're looking and you're investigating. You're asking questions and you aren't even a medical professional. But just that instinct to sort of go, looks like there's something wrong over there. Maybe I need to call 911. And you're picking up usually on some key objective measures. So here in this case, they're saying these things were going on and it was 19 minutes. That's a long time. That's a long time. That's what they're saying. This is a long time. You did nothing. And we think this is wrong. That's what they're saying. Paragraph 5, respondent failed to perform a secondary examination during the 19-minute reference time period. A second examination is used to establish any other non-life-threatening injuries which can lead to a life-threatening event. So we're saying you didn't even check for non-life-threatening injuries that had you, found, you could have stopped a life-threatening event from happening. They're saying you didn't do that either. Respondent provided no treatment to patient TN for the approximate 19-minute reference time period beginning at 8:41. Patient TN did not receive from respondent high-flow oxygen, did not receive an intravenous line, and was not placed on a cardiac monitor for hospital interpretation. Now, I don't know what the standard is for any of these things. I don't know if they were supposed to do these things. I'm not an EMT. If some of you are out there in the medical field and want to put something in the comments that can provide some clarity here, I would appreciate it. I don't know if those things are things they were supposed to do. I have a feeling, a sense that they probably were things that they were supposed to do. Otherwise, they would not have put them in here. They apparently think that they were significant factors that were not done. So I think we owe them a bit of, letting them have their say here, because they put it in here. They're the medical professionals. I am not. Respondent did not engage his partner at the event location for the purposes of taking appropriate action and safeguarding patient TN from incompetent healthcare practices of other emergency medical services personnel. In other words, you didn't look out for what the people you were with might have been doing that was wrong also. Conclusions of law. The facts listed above are sufficient to establish that respondent has violated the following statutes or rules, which are part of the Emergency Medical Services Act of 1983, for which disciplinary action by the board is authorized. And it also says this other section A and B grants authority to the board to take disciplinary action against, quote, any person subject to regulation pursuant to this part, unquote, for any violation of the Emergency Medical Services Act of 1983 or for any violation of any rule or regulation of the board. The facts stated in paragraphs 7, 8, and 9 constitute a violation of, and they've got the code listed here, EMS personnel shall exercise the skills and abilities needed to render appropriate emergency medical care and provide emergency medical services in accordance with authorized procedures, in the respective level of training, and shall administer care to patients based upon knowledge and application of principles derived from the accepted practice and medical approval, and shall fully comply with the board's regulations governing actions and performance of the category of license or certification. There are a couple things here. It says, shall administer care to patients. Well, they've already said for 19 minutes, you didn't administer care to patients. And it says, shall exercise the skills and abilities here in accordance with authorized procedures in the respective level of training. And they started out by saying he was advanced. Advanced EMT is what they were saying here. The facts stated in paragraph 7, 8, and 9 constitute a violation of this section, abandoning or neglecting a patient requiring emergency care following assumption of duty. In other words, you had a duty, you showed up, you responded to the call, you were supposed to provide care, but you neglected to do that. The facts stated in paragraph 7, 8, and 9 are sufficient to constitute a violation of this regulation. An AEMT will provide basic and limited advanced skills that are effective and can be performed safely in and out of a hospital setting with medical direction and limited training, and focused on the acute management and transportation of critical, emergent, and non-emergent patients. On the last one, he failed to take appropriate action in safeguarding the patient from incompetent healthcare practices of emergency medical services personnel. In summary, it says here, the board hereby preliminarily finds the evidence shows Respondent JaMichael Lamar Sandridge, advanced emergency medical technician, engaged in violations of the Emergency Medical Services Act of 1983 and the board's implementing regulations by failing to provide emergency care and treatment to patient TM for a 19-minute time period at the event location on January 7, 2023. The totality of the circumstances imperatively requires emergency action in order to protect the public health, safety, and welfare prior to the initiation of formal disciplinary charges. It is therefore ordered Respondent's license to engage in the practice of advanced emergency medical technician, license number is listed there, is summarily suspended. Respondent shall cease and desist from practicing as an advanced emergency medical technician in the state of Tennessee. This suspension shall be effective immediately and shall remain in effect until the conclusion of the contested case hearing against Respondent or until otherwise ordered by the board. And then you'll see Respondent may present Respondent's version of the facts to the board at an informal conference if a timely request is made by 5 p.m. February 10th. And of course, that has already passed. The sole issue shall be whether the public health, safety, or welfare imperatively required emergency action, whether they needed to go ahead and take emergency action. And this was dated February 2023. So now you have all of the facts related to what happened in that 19-minute period and all of the actions that were not taken during that 19-minute period. So that brings you up to speed regarding what didn't happen, those actions, both the primary and secondary evaluations that were not done, and the list of actual medical procedures that they listed there, medical protocols, whatever you want to call those, that they didn't do either. Once you have all of those facts, now that you have all of those facts, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Peace.